Burnout isn't what you think, and the truth will shock you. Hi, I'm Greg Swanson. Welcome back to the Warrior Mind podcast. This is episode 740. And if you've been listening to me from the beginning, thank you so much. And if this is your first time, thank you so much. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is really discussed through all social media, through all companies and everywhere. It's what is burnout, right? It's burnout is almost this badge of honor, unfortunately, these days. But we want to talk about that because the truth is about stress, misalignment, and renewal. And I've been coaching executives and teams for over 20 years on what we'll call burnout, but more importantly, high performance, because we want to avoid and neutralize burnout. For what purpose is to reach high performance. But first we need to talk about what burnout really is. So what is burnout? Again, it's a word that's being bantered around a lot. There's well-being associated with it, and there's all these things, and most of them though just only work on the effect, not the cause, right? So burnout is not simply fatigue, right? We get to work, we come home, oh, I'm so fatigued, I'm burned out. It's not just about long hours. Burnout is the slow erosion of energy, motivation, and meaning. Yes, meaning. The symptoms include exhaustion. You wake up tired even after sleep with no spark left. I mean, how many times you wake up, and I don't mean just on a Monday, but other days where you just wake up and you've had 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours sleep, and you go, I'm exhausted. Or maybe you've only had 4 hours sleep and you're exhausted. Well, that's understandable, right? But even after all this, you just wake up exhausted. Cynicism. You feel that work is meaningless and people drain your energy, and you're doom and gloom, kind of like Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh. Everything is, oh boy, it's going to be bad. And you're just seeing horribleness around you. And people are jerks, and people drive too fast, they drive too slow, whatever it might be. And this cynicism just takes over your whole personality. Well, that is a symptom of burnout, right? Ineffectiveness, right? You get to work and you put in long, long hours, but you don't get anything done, right? You're busy, but making real little impact or forward progress. And then you get cynicism because of that. And then because you're putting all that in, you get exhaustion. So this is just three of the big symptoms of burnout. And when we can recognize these, then we can start to do something about them. But consider that, right? How many times you go to work and you're busy, 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 and you don't make any impact? Well, that's where I come in to help a lot of my clients is reorganize that work day so they do get productive, they do find meaning, and they do combat the exhaustion, right? So the myth is burnout is stress, and that is not the case. First, there's two types of stress: distress and eustress. Eustress is good stress. It helps us create more. Distress, not so much. Those are when things don't go well. But burnout does not equal stress, right? Our culture glorifies stress as the villain. The story goes, work too hard equals burnout quickly. Rest enough, avoid burnout temporarily. And that's the story, and that's a lie. That is not the truth. When, stress and burnout, correlation is not causation. So the myth is comforting, but it's dangerous because then we go, I just need to rest. I just need to rest. But we never look at why do we need to rest, right? So that's the part of burnout, is that we go stress, I'm stressed, I need to take a rest, which we do need the rest, but rest doesn't address the cause. So we're temporarily negating the cause of it because we isolate ourselves, and then we go back to the same routine and we get burned out again. And this is because high performers, when we look at this stress, rest cycle, it's the stress relief without addressing the real issue of what burnout is. They're trapped in, okay, I'm going to give it all I got, then I'm going to rest. Then I'm going to give it all I got, then I'm going to rest. And that's, some people function like that pretty well, but I'm here talking about burnout in general, that the rest doesn't prevent burnout. It is more to that, and that's what we're going to get into throughout this. So the truth is, burnout is actually misalignment. Misalignment of your values, misalignment of your beliefs, misalignment of your purpose, misalignment of your passion. When we are out of alignment, we then get these feelings of burnout, and then we display them through being short-tempered, cynical, can't stay awake no matter how many Red Bulls we have. So if you really want to answer what is burnout, here is the truth. It happens when your outer life betrays your inner truth. When you're doing something that doesn't align with who you are in the inner world. You value health, for example, but you sacrifice it for work and constant demands. You go, I'm going to go, man, I'd love to go to the gym. And, you wake up tired, so you don't go to the gym. And then you say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym after work. But you think you have to do stuff at work. So you stay to 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, and then you miss the gym, but you go, but I value my health. Well, your alignment is not there, right? Your inner world says, I value health. Your outer world says, I have to do other things. You value family, but you miss every moment that truly matters deeply. You're at a birthday party, you're checking your phone for text, you're thinking about the work, you're thinking about that because of all the other stuff that's going on. But you say you value your family, but you're not there. Your mind is at work, your mind is on your phone, your mind is someplace else. That, again, is a misalignment. You value growth, but you're chained to mediocrity and wasted potential daily, watching hours and hours of TV, watching news. Now, news these days is so skewed that, you might be better off not watching any of it. And if it gets bad enough, somebody will call you. But I understand needing to keep up on local things, and maybe a half-hour show would do it. But after that, if you value growth, you say you want to grow as a person, but you have no physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual practice that you're following because of, because dot, 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 you fill in the blank, then you're not aligned, you're misaligned. And this is some of the contributing factors to burnout, is this misalignment. So the 4 dimensions of alignment, I just mentioned those, right? It's the physical, the energy, the health, the recovery part of it, the mental, right? We want to have that clarity, focus, and mindset. Emotional, we want to have great relationships, regulation of our emotions, and passion for what we do. And the spiritual, that's where our purpose and our values and our mission lie. Those are our alignment directions, right? North, south, east, and west, if you will. And when we align our behavior to our internal physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual, and exhibit those externally, then burnout doesn't happen because we're doing those things that are important to us. So the question is, how do you realign and recover, right? So there's practical steps. First, being aware, right? Awareness is, if I say that health is important to me, am I doing the things physically for health? Am I eating correctly? Am I hydrating? Am I working out? Am I walking? So being aware of it, and then reflect on what you're doing and what you're not doing, and then create a practice so that you can put into place those important factors, right? And then we want to create daily anchors, morning, evening routines, breath work, and journaling. When I work with my clients, I help them set up their ideal day. We create an AM routine, a PM routine, a work routine, and a sleep routine. And this may sound boring, but we could change that to call them rituals because we're mindful of them. And the morning is to energize you, focus you for the day, and have a positive mindset, right? Your evening routines before bed is to pre-plan the next day, review the great things that you got done, and appreciate and show gratitude for those things. And then we can also have this breath work and journaling involved with it. But we want to start rebuilding from the inside out. We want to understand who we are on the inside, right? Go back and revisit your values, your beliefs, your purpose and your passion, and you get in touch with that and align with it and say, this is what's important to me, and this is how I'm going to show up. This is how people are going to recognize that these things are important to me by the actions that you take. And when you start taking those actions, then burnout never happens because you're doing the things that you like physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Yes, there may be some times at work where it's rough, but you when I help my clients with their work routine, the morning part is for proactive work, the afternoon is for reactive work. So they're jazzed by getting stuff done in the morning, and that energy takes them over to do the boring reactive work in the afternoon. So they're managing the cause of burnout, they're not managing the effect of it. So here's some mistakes to avoid when we think about this, right? Believing rest cures burnout. It doesn't. It subtly diminishes it, but it doesn't cure it. Because burnout is a bunch of other things, and resting is just stopping it for a while. And chasing productivity hacks instead of alignment, right? With AI and Chat and Claude and the other ones there, people are spending more time on AI trying to find hacks than actually doing the work itself. Because if you've done any of that work with AI, sometimes you put a prompt in, it doesn't come back correctly, and you spend 5 hours to develop a hack to save you 2 minutes, where if you just did the work in the first place, you'd be done with it. So a lot of times we're chasing these productivity hacks instead of alignment for ourselves, right? And then ignoring your emotional and spiritual misalignments. Emotional is out there. A lot of people don't want to have the guts or the courage to admit that they're emotionally under stress or under pressure, right? That's emotionally intelligent, is understanding what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. A lot of people don't want to admit that they're ignorant when it comes to their emotions, and also the spiritual misalignment, finding purpose in everything you do, right? And believing more success will solve it. Well, if I'm just more successful, then I'll feel good. If I'm more successful, then I can take a break when I'm more successful. That never works. Never, ever, ever. So here's some final thoughts, right? The burnout is the signal you're living out of alignment with who you really are. Think about that. When you realign physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, burnout transforms into energy, purpose, and fire. This is the true answer to what is burnout. The question is whether you're stressed. The question is, are you aligned? If you want to see the show notes on this podcast, you can visit warriormindcoach.com. While you're over there, you can find more useful information in the form of other podcasts and blog posts, and also how to book your power strategy call so we can help create your ideal day and eliminate burnout from your life. Since you'll be on the internet, please follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, all under Warrior Mind Coach.